Kate and Colleen show on Colleen's page known as Consignment Marketing because that's her business. My name is Kate Holmes. I am the author of Too Good to Be Through, the complete operations manual for resale and consignment shops. And I'm also the web host at tgtbt.com. And I blog and I do social media and all that stuff that we're all supposed to do now in this day and age. And my cohort here on the Kate and Colleen show is Colleen Lloyd Roberts. She's right there in North Carolina. Say hi, Colleen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Kate and Colleen show. I hope everyone's having a great week. It's Tuesday, so I hope your week is off to a really fantastic start. And what are we talking about today, Kate?
Well, we talked last week about checking up on your website, making sure that everything is copacetic every week, making sure that nothing has changed, making sure that you haven't put on a message that no longer applies, such as we're closed today for snow, that kind of a thing. It kind of segued into, we started talking about actually how to make changes on your website and what your website should have on it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to start from a non-professional, kind of an amateur view of websites, and then Colleen's going to pop in with what she does best, which is make wonderful websites. So first thing to know about websites is there is such a thing as website builders, and I'm sure you've seen all the TV ads for Wix.com. There's also WordPress, there's also Weebly, there's also Squarespace. Quite a few companies where you can actually go and build a website without any professional help, which is wonderful. We all love the price of them, which is anywhere from $5 or $10 a month to free. But we also have to realize that once that website is built, it needs to be kept up. When we're building a website, it needs to look professional. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what you can do to keep your website up to date and what kind of pages you should have. A couple of things you need to know. A website builder is exactly that. It makes a website for you. Most of them nowadays are visual. You can move things around and make changes that are automatically shown on your screen, so you can figure out whether you want a maroon headline or a midnight blue headline. Another thing that you really need to know, and this is true whether you're doing your own website or whether you're having a professional do it for you, is you need to know the term CMS. And that stands for Content Management System. So if you're hiring somebody to do a website for you, make darn sure that you understand what CMS the person is using and how you can use it. CMSs are things like WordPress again, Drupal, Joomla. Each website builder will have his or her own choice of CMS, but make sure that person shows you where to go to learn how to use it. Once you learn how to use it, it's as easy as checking in clothes, as changing hangers, anything that you do normally in your business every day. Colleen, before I get into a list of pages that I think people should have I misspoken? Have I left something out that people need to know?
No, I think you're doing an awesome job. I would like to just beef up a little bit more about the importance of that CMS, because there's a new term, newer to a lot of people. We all have heard of SEO, which is search engine optimization. There's a new term that you may or may not have heard now called, I'm sorry, I might have said it, SEO, sorry, search engine optimization. And the new term now is called SEM, search engine marketing. And they are tied very closely together, but they're both related to that content. So making sure that you have your CMS and that content-rich website is really important, especially if you want consignment stores in your area and you want to make sure that people find your store first. That is one of the things that we see a lot of is content poor websites, meaning like just small little bits and chunks of content. And when it comes to a website, like more is better. So that CMS component of your website is extremely important. Extremely important.
So when you're talking about search engine optimization and search engine management, and you're saying it needs to be rich, does that mean they need to write paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs? Do they need to repeat and repeat and repeat certain things? Maybe you could go in a little deeper into that.
Yes, absolutely. So search engine marketing is the term, search engine marketing. And that is where we're tying into like Google AdWords, for example. So yes, what you want to do, here's the trick, is you want to put the basic bullet points information in the top paragraph, in the headlines, and in the top paragraph. But then you want to just like verbal vomit in the rest of the content. Some people will actually read through all of that content and some will not read through it. But the more content, it makes you look like an industry leader. It makes you stand out in your community as the community leader. The more information on your website, the better. And then it also gives you lots and lots of content for Google to find you, Google to pull keywords. When you're doing your Google AdWords, it really helps when you have so many opportunities to link more and more information. And when you're doing search engine marketing, where people are searching you out on the internet, Google times, like they actually start a stopwatch, the amount of time like someone clicks on your Google ad and goes to your website. And if you just have everything like literally bullet pointed there and someone just spends like a few seconds on your website, that actually dings you. And so when you're doing the bidding process for your Google ads, you're going to end up paying more and you're not going to get very high up in the bidding place. When Google is timing people that go to your website and they see like, wow, like, people are spending a lot of time on, Too Good to Be True's website, for example, then Google sees that you actually have a website people like to spend time on, and then they bump you up in the bidding process when you're bidding on keywords. And that is really a lot of how you can outbid even great big companies who have deeper pockets. So does that answer the question? Did I explain that well enough, Kate?
It's a little technical, but I'm sure that as people work with their webmaster or ads, they'll understand more what you're saying. Let's go back to the basics of what you need on a website, what pages you need, what you need to tell people, because that will keep people on your website longer, which makes your website bump up in all of those ranking systems that Colleen talked about. And of course, the first thing you need is a home page. You and I tend to call it a home page. Webmasters tend to call it an index page because that's the name of it in the actual internet lingo. It's the page that you want people to see to introduce yourself on. So the index page would have all sorts of things on it. Then you'd also have an about page. The index page and the about page and every other page that I'm going to talk about needs to have a couple of things that are very, very important that need to be on every page. The first thing is, where the heck are you? If somebody finds a wonderful shop they get all excited about, they want to go into, and it's in Squamish, Washington, and they live in Boca Raton, Florida, you're never going to get them. So be sure to let people know where you are. Be sure to have a picture of your shop on your index page. Not everybody agrees with this, but I think it's very, very important, because if I'm driving down Route 322 every day and have never noticed that cute little yellow cottage in the corner, when I see it online, I'll go, oh, I know exactly where that place is. So an index page is a really good place to put a picture of the outside of your shop. If you'll notice on Google, when you do searches, Google's actual little template that they put out there always shows the outside of your store. Google has gone through and actually taken a picture of your store and put it on that website for you. That's how important it is. Then you
And
need
if
an
it's a
about
bad
page.
picture, you can change it. I just want to say you can go into Google and change the photo.
Yes, you can add pictures to Google. Oh, we're being squirrely here today. The next thing is your about page. Your about page needs to tell people what you're all about, obviously, but it needs to do that in the style of your branding. So I don't want you to get all hoity-toity and said, One More Time was founded in 1975 by the late Kate Holmes. Originally it was on Grandview Avenue. It moved to Fifth Avenue. Nobody cares about that. They care about what kind of experience you're going to have when you go in the store. So talk about it. And be sure that you do it in first person, even if you're using your dog as first person. First person means I opened my shop and blah, 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 as opposed to third person, which is the shop was opened. So be sure to do that. So you need an index page, you need an about page, you need a how-to page, how to consign, how to donate, how to sell to us page, things of that sort. And most of all, you need a contact page. That contact page is called contact, and people expect to see the word contact, but it doesn't necessarily mean they want to talk to you right then. It's the place that you store all of the hard info. The map, the Google map that shows where your store is, your hours, your phone number, your email contact, things of that sort. That's what goes on a contact page. So that's really the only four you really, really, really need. And once you get comfortable with that, you can add more pages, which we'll talk about in a moment. Colleen, again, did I miss something important?
No, you did a really great job. I just, a couple shout outs here, Kate. I want to shout out to Tanya Duggar, Laurel House, Angela Ordaz, did I say that right? And Leslie, good morning, Leslie, Michelle, Ellen, Dawn Gonzalez. So just a huge shout out. Thank you all for joining us this morning. If you have any questions or comments, definitely let us know. And I would like to say your consigner login should be another, basic foundation piece of your website. And again, so I'm not a fan of putting a photo of your store on your website front page because that could be a great place to put it on the contact page. Like on your front home page should be like a great graphic or some different graphics that are very emotionally appealing, that when you look at them, it's a great, very artistic photo representative of your brand, but kind of does make a little bit of an emotional connection or make the viewer look and think about your store and kind of draws them in and wants them to learn more. If you have multiple categories, your homepage is a great place to put visual images of the different categories that you have. If you have a men's department and a children's department, or if you have a accessories and a handbags department, and maybe a little bit of maybe some people are now starting to carry bits and pieces of furniture or some home decor gifty items. Putting those big visual images, and then of course you link your image to the sections of your website that talk about those different categories as well. The other thing is on your frequently asked pages section, make sure that there is a great explanation of short how to consign with you, but then a little bit more in depth, like you can put some of your rules and regulations and guidelines and things like that on your website. And then on your contact page, it's really a good idea to have the email of where people can send photos, because then you can link that up to a lot of different things where you can just send them the link of how to consign. But you can also have an online consignment form as well, which is really, really, really helpful for a lot of people so that they can submit photos and things through your website and they come through into your email. And we're seeing a lot of that now And then you can link that up to a really nice Google ad as well. So people click on the Google ad and your form pops up and they go, oh, I think I'm going to, submit a few photos here of some things for consignment. And people like easy these days. So things that you can do on your website that make it easier for people is really, really important. So I know we got started a few minutes late. I know it's after our time already. Do you have anything else, Kate?
Not really. As I said, if you are hesitant to get into all of this, and when Colleen says link your photos, makes you go cross-eyed, don't hesitate to hire professional help. It's out there. You don't wash your own windows. You don't do your own dry cleaning. Realize that this is an expense, and we're lucky nowadays in this century to get away with not having to pay for newspaper ads every week because nobody reads the newspaper anyway. So consider that ad budget applicable to making your website look good. So don't hesitate to hire somebody if you need to. But on the other hand, don't be afraid of learning what you're doing. And a really, really good way to learn how to talk to your webmaster so that you're not saying things that the webmaster misunderstands is to educate yourself a bit. There's a really, really good website that is called, and I forgot to write it down, digital.com. Digital.com. It is a tutorial page that will tell you all about the various CMSs, the various phraseology that your webmaster will be using. What the heck does it mean to link a picture? What the heck does it mean to have a contact page? All that kind of stuff, the contact forms, the consignor logins, things of that sort. But beware, if you're taking advice from the internet without talking to a real person who understands this industry, you're going to get service that is angled towards online selling only. And even if online selling is an important part of your website, it's not the only thing you have to do. You also want to get people into your bricks and mortar. So be sure that you hire somebody who understands what resale is, who understands that we are one-of-a-kinders, that we can't afford to do certain things that larger stores can do when they have 5 dozen of something to sell. We only have one. Be sure to understand that. And that is kind of Colleen and Richard's role in our industry, is that not only do they understand all of the stuff that we don't understand, all of the digital stuff and the SEOs and the SEMs and the CSSs and the HTMLs, but they also understand what it is that we're trying to accomplish and the limitations that we have on our time, our effort, even our merchandise.
And thank you for that, Kate. If you have questions, if you are building your own website and you have some questions, definitely feel free to put those questions on consignment marketing and we'll answer them. I prefer to answer questions on consignment marketing as opposed to a private message, because chances are if you're asking a question, someone else has the same exact question. So definitely post your question on there. Hey, I'm building my own website and I am, how do you do this, or what do you recommend for that? Like, I will be more than happy to offer advice, me or Richard, definitely. So feel free, if you're building your own website, we're not opposed to that. There's just a lot of people who would rather spend their time running their business and not building a website. But if you're building your own website, that's totally awesome. If you have questions, definitely we're happy to answer them for you and help you through in that process. So we're going to continue our series on websites. I think we've got another couple of weeks with short little topics to talk about. And so next week, we're going to return with some more information on websites. And Kate, do you have anything else? Any final statements?
No, but as my mama says, go out there and sell something today. Got to earn some money to get that website up and running.
Excellent. All right, everyone, have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next week for the Kate and Colleen show. Bye-bye.
Bye now.